The number one thing you need to accept is that you can't keep up. It's impossible. So if you expect to keep up with all the tools, it's my job and I can't keep up with it.
There is always a new kid on the block. And now it's like this OpenClaw thing. And I mean, you said the first thing you have to accept is that you can't keep up, but you're also someone that immediately jumps into it.
When it came out, my Twitter feed instantly got flooded with multiple people talking about it in the first 2 or 3 hours. Then I knew instantly, okay, this is something. Tomorrow I need to book 2 hours in the morning. I need to test it immediately.
Why is this substantial? Why should people care?
OpenClaw is one of the most capable AI assistants at the moment that's on the market. You have to think about it as a regular ChatGPT or Claude. It can do most of the things that those platforms can do for you, but it has a lot of extras to it. The biggest difference between OpenClaw and the ChatGPT-like platforms is that
before we dive in, you're listening to the Masters of Search podcast with me, your host, Niklas Buschner. Each week, I sit down with some of the smartest people around the world in SEO and AI search to bring you their strategies, mental models, and top pieces of actionable advice. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow it in your favorite podcasting app or YouTube. It helps us get top-notch guests and create the best possible content for you. Let's dive into today's episode. Today's episode will be about AI, but not the ChatGPT kind of AI, but the building agents kind of AI. We'll talk about what Alfred has been cooking over the last month, what FAFO really means, not just what the acronym stands for, and about this new kid on the AI block that's called OpenClaw. If you want to understand where AI-powered marketing is actually heading, not the LinkedIn hype, but the messy, exciting reality of building stuff every single day, this is the conversation. That being said, welcome to the podcast, Alfred.
Thank you very much, Niklas, for the invitation, and happy to be here and talk about one of the topics that nobody talks about, AI.
Yeah, I also feel like we have uncovered a gap here in especially LinkedIn content with AI. But yeah, jokes aside, thanks so much for taking the time. For people to better understand why you are a perfect person to listen to when it's about this topic, can you share a little bit of context about your role and what you do basically day by day?
Yeah, of course. So my job position on paper, it's stated AI architect. That's the official and nice name that you can also use in a more normal ways. But I call myself a FAFO engineer. That's F around and find out. Mostly my job is at the agency. So I work at a Dutch agency called Adwise. It's a digital marketing agency. And my role is to help our clients integrate AI in a way that makes sense and it's also useful and possible. And also at the same way, the other 50% is to help the agency itself. So our teams and services, how we can make something faster, how we can do it with AI. And it's a lot of experimenting, implementing things and not just playing around, but we also have a lot of already running systems in production, either at us or either at some of our clients. So yeah, basically that in a nutshell. But if there's anything else you want to know, just feel free to ask.
Of course. I always loved these videos on YouTube where it's like day in the life of I remember software engineer at Google, day in the life of even, I don't know, investment banker, because just you sometimes you generally understand what these people do, but you don't have like a clear like visual manifestation of how their day actually looks like. So can you take us through a typical day, like one day like AI architect at Adwise?
Yeah, I can. I start really early. So my wake up is around 4:45, 4:50. Depends a bit on when the dog wakes up. And then I just quickly go out, take the dog to a tour, and then basically after breakfast I go straight away to work. What exciting but also at the same time challenging about this role is that I really don't have 2 days that are the same. So it's hard to find like a I have obviously, I try to have a rhythm where I work in the morning. I have 2 or 3 hours focused work, but the topics, projects I work on, it's constantly changing, and it's really, sometimes I don't even know, like Monday, what's going to come up on Wednesday. So one day can be, for example, if I take a typical day, for example, yesterday, I was 3 hours at the client talking about their new plans for how we can integrate AI. We already made a proof of concept for them and we tested it, and now we had to present that proof of concept with the client himself to his team and to his management, and we had to prove basically, okay, this is what we've been building in the past couple of weeks. It's working. We made a demo for them, and then we just had to present it, and now we are waiting for approval. So he is waiting for approval, the person that's building that inside the company, so we can take it further to because now it's just a proof of concept. So that was in the morning, and then in the afternoon I had to finish up something. We are working on a reporting agent inside the agency, and one of my I took the agent to a certain level, and we had to take it to deploy it to a Docker server, so we can run certain things also on the server side. My colleague, which is a lot more technical than I am, finished up part of it, and then I finished that in the afternoon, and then the rest of the day was just looking for some issues and bugs, because one thing nobody talks about, AI systems that are in production, that they're going to break a lot of times. And the more system you have running, the more systems you need to maintain and fix. And since we have at the agency right now 14 active systems that are running in certain ways, some are running in NA10, some are running outside NA10, there's always something that's broken. Somebody always sends a Slack with an image that's not working. And then, usually I spend like 1 hour a day try to fix those as much as I can. And then if it's a sport day, I go to sport. And after that, I do some work in the evening. And basically that's it. But yeah, mostly it's like 10, 13 hours of work a day about, and then learning about AI and then trying projects and things like that.
And what would you say, why do AI agents break so often? And do you feel like they break more often than traditional software products pre-AI era?
Not really. So software-wise, they don't really break. It's more like the response they give, it's not always what's expected. What I see from our examples is like 40% is user are not using it the way it was intended to be used, which is with every software, I guess. But no, but people need to get used to how to prompt. So most of the times what I see is that colleagues put something into it and then they get something, but the way they asked for it, or the way the data that they gave to the AI, it was that AI had no chance to give a correct answer. And the problem is, even if you set it into the system prompt, these systems try to help in any way possible. So they try to come up with an answer. Sometimes it's wrong, and then that frustrates people. Other things are just timeout errors, something breaking in production. 30% of the errors is probably just me making a mistake when I created it, because most of them are, I would say, vibe coded with an intention. So I'm vibe coding in a way I know exactly each file what needs to do in the project and what the folders are in database. So I understand the project is not completely vibe coded, but obviously the code, 90% of the code is written by AI. So something we break here there. So you also have to fix that.
And can you share an example of a product or an agent, etc., you build? Maybe some that is best for people also to understand what's possible. So probably not the most complicated thing you've built, but maybe something that's just very, very easy to imagine also how it's working out in a day-to-day, either at the agency or at clients.
Yeah. I can share an example from our agency. I assume, your listeners are also digital marketers, so it's going to be easy to understand. The social team needed a quick tool where they can A/B test certain creatives. And just making small changes to the image itself. So when the design team from the client or our design team creates a creative, sometimes you want to test with, like, I don't know, the button on the image or something on the image changes from green to blue, and just small changes. And those, instead of asking someone from the design team or going yourself into Canva or making the changes, Nano Banana Pro is exceptionally good at those things. So I created a small tool where they can just upload an image, give context about what they want to change, select the client if it's available also in the database. So we already have some context about what they are doing, and the brand colors and things like that. And then the user just has to say, okay, this is the image, I want to change that button from green to red, and then they get the output. They can download it, and they have immediately a new version of almost the same creative.
And what would you say to people that say, hey, okay, but I can also just do this in Gemini and then select Nano Banana Pro? So why should I build a tool for this use case?
Yeah, one thing is that in Gemini, you can create a gem where you can also upload the brand colors and things like that, but that's nice for one client. But when you need to create gems for each of your clients, then it's going to take always a bit longer. So with this tool, we have it pre-coded, so they just need to get a selector. I'm now working with this client, so they already knows most of the colors that he can use and brand tone of voice and things like that. Because it's not just color changing with the A/B test. You can also write a new text, and then you don't have to explain what words we want to use. Some clients like this type of text or not, and then that's already over there and accessible. And it's in this way it's better. The other thing, in Nano Banana, you can get rate limited. With this, we can't, because we use straight the API. So if 10 colleagues are working on it at the same time and everyone sends a request, we just scale with that. And in Gemini, at some point you run into some rate limits as well.
And how do you decide if, for example, someone from the team or from a client comes with a request for, hey, couldn't we do this in a better way, or couldn't we maybe use AI for that? How do you decide between the different options? Like, okay, we can just use like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude with maybe a little bit better prompt, but we use the normal interface, and then we can use a Claude project, a custom GPT, or a Gemini Jam. So create a dedicated instance, so to say, in the tool for it. And okay, we have to build a standalone agent or standalone tool. So what's your decision-making checklist, so to say, for these requests?
It always starts with the request and what they actually want as output. So when I start this and I have like a talk or a small meeting with the client or team members that they want something to do with AI, my first question is always, what would you like to be the output, and how often do you need that? And so when you talk with this tool, agent, whatever, what is that you want to see as a response? And that, most of the time, that really helps deciding on which way we need to go. So if they say, usually, I want to have a conversation about something, so let's say I want to talk to my data, then building a full agent is not always the best option. Then you just need to find a way for that person so they can get the data in a safe way to the already existing platform. So to like Claude or a Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever. And then they can talk there. The reason, for example, for this example, is that inside all these tools, there are a lot of other tools that the agents can call. So if you talk with ChatGPT, he can search internet, things like that. And people are used to that. If I recreate that as an agent, a standalone agent, I need to recreate all those tools. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of experimenting. And they won't work as good as what OpenAI created. So when someone wants to talk to data and things like that, then usually I recommend, okay, we find a way for you to get that actual data from BigQuery, from Google Analytics, from whatever, to that tool, and then you can talk over there in a safe way. If someone wants to have like an automated process that runs every day, then those platforms automatically are not an option. So then you need to look into, for example, if it's not hard to make, then N8N is a nice option. Depends. So when they say, okay, I need this every day at certain hour delivered to a certain place, then the next question what comes is, okay, where is your data? How much reasoning the agent has to do when it needs it gives you the answer. And based on that, I can already see if it's like a multi-agent process. So we need like 2 or 3 or 4 agents to get the answer. Then probably N8N won't be a good fit because of timeouts and crashes, and it's not always reliable. Then you need to think about another framework. But if it's just like one agent and certain API calls, and then you send it as an email, then you dialed it exactly. Okay, then we go with N8N. It's easy to build, and we fire it up. So yeah, mostly this is my checklist. I try to find out what they want as an answer. Do they need it timed? Do they need it in a certain place, or they just want to talk with it? And that decides in which direction we go from there.
When did you become an AI architect, or when did like your role change?
Yeah.
Maybe also officially?
Officially changed in July last year. And so obviously people don't know me, but I have no AI background at all. So I am not even a computer scientist or something like that. I started out as a regular, normal Google Ads specialist. I have 9 years experience in that field. That's what I did at the agency before I started working on AI projects. And this came pure from I loved it, and I saw an opportunity here. When ChatGPT got released in 2023, I think I saw it on the day of the release on Twitter. Someone was posting about it, and I also immediately tried it, and I was instantly hooked. I was the first guy at the agency because the next day was Monday. I went in, I showed to everyone, hey, this is a nice tool. You can talk and you get answers, and you can do a lot of things. Nobody understood at that point what I'm talking about. 2 weeks later, everyone was talking about ChatGPT. And I just loved it. I saw the opportunity, things that you can create, how many chances you have. And then I spent every morning, before work, after work, weekends, everything, building certain things, trying it, playing around with the tools that are available. When a new model came out, I tried it instantly. When I saw a new tool, I tried it instantly. And I shared all these processes inside the agencies. I talked about it. I shared certain tools that I made. And obviously the leadership at the agency saw it. Okay, yeah, maybe we should give him some more time to actually have dedicated time for this. And then that increased from 20% to 30 to 40, 50. And then in July, we decided, okay, I should go then probably full on this.
And do you think, or do you maybe even see this role also popping up at other companies? Because I feel like it's still fairly new.
Yeah. I can dare to say we were the first agency in the Netherlands. I don't know about the other parts of the world, but we were the first agency in the Netherlands that had a full-time someone that was working with AI-related things. I'm not sure if this is going to be a standard or not. I am definitely sure you will need someone that focuses on AI more than other things. So if I take the agency model, I really see the benefit of having someone like this at the company. The thing is that if you have someone full-time doing things like this, then they can have all kinds of time to experiment new tools, find out what's working, what's not working, see patterns, what you need to try, what you need to ignore. Because when other team members come from their industries, verticals with a question, you know exactly which tool can help them because you've tried so many already, and do you need to build something or you don't need to build something, and you can help them a lot easier. So if you expect like a dedicated SEO specialist or someone that's working with social ads to also create a tool while they are managing clients and things like that, it's going to take a lot longer. So doing it in tandem with someone that's focusing on creating the tool and getting feedback from the actual specialist can help a lot. And yeah, you need a team or one person at least that understands all the things that comes with AI. I still don't understand a lot of it, but I do understand, I think, a lot compared to colleagues that don't spend a lot of time with playing around with these tools.
And what helps you keeping up with all the news? because I feel like every week probably there's a new release, either Claude releases a new model, or there's, I don't know, a completely new set of features coming out. Then there's like new agent platforms popping up, etc. So I feel like when I talk to people that are maybe still, so they are way earlier in their AI journey than you, for example, one of the things that I hear the most is that they struggle with keeping up, and then you already feel left behind if you're not like on the cutting edge. Where probably that's not true, but how do you handle this? Maybe even more like mindset wise or mentally.
Yeah. The number one thing you need to accept is that you can't keep up. It's impossible. So if you accept to keep up with all the tools, it's my job and I can't keep up with it. While doing all the things and creating projects, there's no chance keeping up. I have an AI agent running on for myself that sends me sometimes news. I don't even have sometimes time to read what he sends. So let alone keep up with the news. You can. So I think we need to accept that at some point you won't be able to keep up with all the tools. My thing is, how I do it is, once you get into it, so at the beginning it's really hard. You're gonna see a lot of tools, you're gonna see a lot of ways to do it and everything like that. As soon as you get more into it, you will see that most of tools are the same, and the behind what they do, it's a bit different. So if you understand, like, for example, if you understand context window and how that works, doesn't matter which coding agent you are using. You are using Cursor, Cloud Code, Gemini, Codex. It works the same way. One has a bit bigger context window, one has a bit lower context window, but the logic behind it is the same. And as soon as you understand these things, the basics, like with everything, getting up on speed with a new model or a new tool, it's not really difficult after that. You usually, what you can expect from a new model is that it can do more, has a better context window, understands things. So what I usually do is, when I'm doing something and I run into a issue, for example, with coding projects, and AI can't solve it, and I see that we're just running around in circles, I make a note of it. I write down what I tried and why it failed. And then when a new model comes out, usually I go back to those notes and I try a few of those issues again with the new model to see what changed. Does the thinking logic changes of the model or not? To see what works or what doesn't work with the new model. But yeah, this, obviously you need this first to start using it. So I think you don't have to be like scared or something. I think the best is pick one of the bigger players, Gemini, Claude, whatever, and start actually like making something. Do a coding project. Everyone has like ideas. Everyone has a tool that they want or something. Yeah, try to make that. See where that takes you, to understand how you work with these tools. Because as sooner you understand, it's the easier will be to move to a new tool when it comes out. So yeah, I think that helps a bit. I don't know if this makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense totally. But there is always a new kid on the block, as I also said in the introduction, and now it's like this OpenClaw thing. So, and I mean, you said the first thing you have to accept is that you can't keep up.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, you're also someone that immediately jumps into it. So if
but this I forgot to say. If you are on Twitter or on LinkedIn, I recommend, if you are really want to be up to date with AI stuff, go to Twitter. Because what I see on LinkedIn sometimes is 2 or 3 days later. So people sharing things on LinkedIn, I'm like, that's old news that was posted yesterday on X or 2 days ago. When something big comes out, because there's so much noise, everyone is testing everything. When something big comes out, you will see it everywhere. So you instantly know, okay, I need to try this. So every small tool release, you won't be able to try it. But when, for example, OpenClaw is now the name, but when it was launched, it was Claude Bot. When it came out, my Twitter feed instantly got flooded with multiple people talking about it in the first 2 or 3 hours. Then I knew instantly, okay, this is something. Tomorrow I need to book 2 hours in the morning. I need to test it immediately. If like 10 or 12 other people talk about it on X, I know, okay, this probably is serious. So I need to look into it. And yeah, this is what helps. So people are helping actually each other with keeping up with the news, because there's so much tool releases every day, and something that's mediocre doesn't worth the time. People won't talk about it that much. When something big jumps, everyone talks about it. So then you need to probably test it.
So please take us with you to these 2 hours that you blocked after OpenClaw, or back then called ClaudeBot, came out. What did you see? What is this? Why is this substantial? Why should people care?
Yeah. So first of all, what OpenClaw is one of the most capable AI assistants at the moment that's on the market. You have to think about it as a regular ChatGPT or Claude. It can do most of the things that those platforms can do for you, but it has a lot of extras to it. So first of all, you can install OpenClaw on your device. I don't recommend doing that. Definitely not on your main device that you are using daily. Because the biggest difference between OpenClaw and the ChatGPT like platforms is that OpenClaw can do with your device everything that you can do with your device. So it can open a browser, it can delete files, it can search for files, it can edit files. And it does this, so if you have experience with Claude Code, then you can understand OpenClaw quite fast, because OpenClaw can run terminal commands in your device, and with terminal commands, basically, you can do almost everything on your laptop. So this is one of the biggest differences. I made some notes for myself to not forget to mention the most important things. So let me just make sure that I covered all these. So this is one of the biggest that it can run the PC actually that you can as a user. So that gives so much freedom with it that it's insane. The other part is that it's really autonomous. So you don't have to explain to it a lot of things. For example, when I was setting up OpenClaw, usually you can set it up by just talking to it. So once it's running on a server on your device, you can just start chatting with it. And then you say, for example, I said to him, I want to activate Nano Banana Pro skill in your tool base so you can generate images for me. And then I use it in Discord to talk with the tool. And I saw that he's typing, thinking, and then he came back with the answer. Nano Banana is activated. All I need from you is to put on the server the API credentials. Cool. Okay. He made it. I put the API credential in and it was working. Honestly, I have no idea what he did in the background, but it's working, and it's working since. And so it's really autonomous. So you don't have to explain everything, what he needs to do and things like that. And also, the other part, the third thing that makes it super interesting is that it has built-in wake-up moments. So the two things that they are called, and we can go into detail later on, obviously, but one is called the heartbeat and the others are cron jobs. So heartbeat, the standard setting for the heartbeat is that it wakes up every 30 minutes and it sends you like a DM message or he checks on certain things. That is configurable by the user. So what you want the agent or the AI assistant to do every 30 minutes, you can make it every hour, every day, depends on your settings. And the cron jobs are like tasks that you can schedule, just like, for example, with any attendant. Every day at 8 o'clock, send me a report about this. And then it will do it, and it will come into your Discord or to your email or whatever place you choose. I think these are the three biggest differences compared to just the ChatGPT account.
Okay, cool. And why do people now talk to ClaudeBot via WhatsApp? Because this is something that felt fairly new compared to using ChatGPT or compared to Claude. So, like, what is the backstory behind that, or why is this happening? And is this also something where you feel like this is part of the reason why it got so popular? Because it feels so natural. Like I can just message this bot on WhatsApp and it will actually do things.
I think that helped to become like, it made it more personal. So I, for example, don't use it with WhatsApp because the recommendation if you use it with WhatsApp is that you get for the agent a mobile phone number, a separate number, so you don't run it from your own number. I use it via Discord, but that's also the same. it's just fun because you talk with an AI on a platform that is already familiar for you. So like WhatsApp, everyone uses it to talk with someone, and then you are on your way to work, and then you just message your AI assistant to look up something for you before you get to the meeting. It can do it for you. So once you get there, you already have the message on your WhatsApp. It really feels like, I think for people, it feels like for me that you are talking to a virtual assistant that's there for you 24/7, and it can do basically anything for you that you ask. And that probably helped a lot to make it like more, that we can get attached to it a bit faster than other chatbots.
Mm. And can you share some of the use cases that you already explored? Like things, maybe even things where you felt like, okay, this is not working out so well yet. So we're doing a little bit of expectation management here also with people.
Mm-hmm.
But then also things where you felt like, hey, this is working really, really great. And I'm even surprised by how well this is going.
Yeah. So at the moment, I call her Liara. So you have to give the assistant a name. When you are setting it up, you gave it a name. Then they have what's called the soul.md. So like how they need to act. It's it's interesting. And
we have to quickly
really
explain here for people soul.md because people might hear it. So it's a file that is called soul, and MD stands for Markdown.
Exactly.
So it's basically the soul of this bot written down how it is shaped, so to say.
Yeah.
And I laughed because it's so human.
Yeah, exactly. So in that soul file, it standard comes out. So when you install it, it's already there. It has like a bit of instructions. And one of the instructions over there is that I think literally says that this is your soul. Keep it maintained, add things to it, remove things from it as you see fit. So the creator of OpenClaw deliberately created it in a way that it's like it can change its soul. And what's fascinating is that it's really working. So as soon as you start talking to it, it adapts. So it for example, now it talks with me exactly how I want Liara to talk with me. I get short messages to the point, explaining what I really want. No fluff, no nothing. That's how I communicate as well. And it's so nice to see that it changes over time and it remembers things because it also has a memory markdown file. And in the system prompt of this agent is stated that it needs to log for itself the memory file. So when it thinks that something is important, it will make an entry automatically in the memory file. And when you talk with it, and based on the question, the model already understands, okay, I might need to look up the memory because he's asking something about the past. Then he searches the memory file quickly and then automatically remembers, oh, okay, yeah, we talked about that. We made these certain things. And these two things makes it really personal. But the original question for why I use it, it's important to explain the soul.md because I use it. One of the things I use it for is it's like Liara is just now at the moment is a coworker at Backdrop Boost. That's an app I'm working on, and I don't have too much time to work on the app. So I realized, okay, this is a nice use case for OpenClaw. So she can pick up things for me that I don't have time for, and then we move on from there. So at the moment we are using it for creating blog entries for us to generate content, creating images that we can use on those. That was one of my biggest time killers. So when I created the blog, even with AI, because most of it was already automated, the problem was I always had to think about the prompt. So what image I can use in that blog article, because you always need an image. And since I'm creating an image creator app, I always had to create images as examples. So you can create from this product image using our app. And that took a lot of time to think about the prompts, what examples I can use. Now I just send a Discord message, hey, write this blog and then create these example images. Everything is uploaded directly to our CDN. Everything is over there. It's done. It's awesome. So this is one of the things that she is really good at. Writing blogs, it's a hit and miss. It's getting better due to the Soul MD because I always try to give feedback on what's working, what's not working. So I scanned the memory and the Soul file a few days ago, and it's really noting down things that I gave as feedback, and the blogs I see that are getting better. So if you install this for content writing, expect at the first weeks, days, terrible output, and then you need to give it feedback just like for your employee, and then it gets better. It really gets better. So now the blogs that she's writing are really good. So I don't really have to give any feedback on them. These are the two use cases that are the most heavily used. And the third one is reviewing our current code base. So she has access to full code of the app, and she goes through it and comes with suggestions. So I have a cron job set up. So she wakes up every day at 9 o'clock. She checks the whole code base and checks the metrics that we have. So how many people signed up in the past 7 days and yesterday? Did we make any revenue or not? And then she tries to help us with some features, what we can add, what we can remove from the app. Because I said to her, your goal is to get us to 400 MRR at the end of February. So since then, we added 25 euros MRR. So it's working. I don't think we will make the 400, but hey.
Interesting. And what is something that maybe didn't work out as well as you would have liked?
Code changes.
Okay. That's why you moved to just having viewing rights on the code base and just making suggestions?
She can make, so she has only viewing rights, but she can make changes because like she made a clone of the repository. She can send pull requests. So, hey, you should add this. And she actually writes the code. And then we can decide, okay, do we add that or not? We can give feedback and things like that. Problem is that the code base that we have is already so big that even when you are coding with Claude, you have to direct it in a certain way so AI doesn't get lost, because it's so much code and so much context there that the context window gets full immediately if you don't manage it correctly. And that's something I see with OpenClaw that I use, that it just messes up the context window and it creates really weird things. Sometimes it writes a code and then I'm like, I'm testing on Discord. Did you actually test what you wrote? Yeah, I tested. I was like, are you sure? Because I just tested it and it crashed. And then comes back with the message, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, I tested. Yeah, it doesn't work. I need to figure this out. And like, okay, figure it out. So code changes are like really a hit and miss. Up until now, in total, I think she created 13 pull requests and I was able to use 4 of those actually to push through production. Something. So that saved me a lot of time actually. And the other ones are good ideas, just the execution was bad. So I saved them and I will give it another shot. Might be my mistake as well. I don't use the most expensive model with OpenClaw because I'm still not a millionaire to spend thousands and thousands of euros on API calls because it makes some costs. So I didn't dare hook it up to Opus 4.6, for example, because probably I will go bankrupt in a week. So I'm using it right now in 2 ways. Using with my OpenAI account. You can log in and then Liara uses the same account as I do with OpenAI. And then she is using Codex 5.3, which is a really good model. Only thing that, it gets quite fast rate limited because we are using the same account. And then I use with API the Gemini 3.0 Flash model because it's cheap, it's fast, it's quite good. But for coding, it's not the best choice. So I still need to try it probably with the 4.6 Opus. I didn't dare at the moment to hook it up to 4.6 Opus.
If anyone listening has $1 million spare, Alfred would be delighted if he gets a donation to.
I'm already happy with 10,000.
Okay, 10,000 is enough. So people, let's make it work. So Alfred can actually test Opus 4.6 with Liara.
Exactly.
But I think here's one critical point, and you mentioned that from the 13 pull requests, you could use 4. Now, I can imagine people listening to this and saying, oh, this is very disappointing. So I would stop using it then. I could imagine that you think about this differently.
Yeah. I know that from the 13, at least 6 was my fault, giving bad instructions and setting up Liara to fail, basically. The model immediately explains why some of those failed. So when she ran out of usage on the Open AI model, the fallback model is the flash. So I assume she was halfway through the task, then the rate limit came in, then she fall back to 3.0 flash. And if you ever coded with 3.0 flash, you know that's rubbish. So when she switched to 3.0 flash, it immediately became really bad quality code. So I am sure if I really like give it a good model and can run on a good model, I'm sure that 4 will jump immediately to 6 or 8. But even with the 4, I'm already satisfied because those were also bad instructions, but those were things that I didn't have to care about at all. So if you code with Claude Code, it's fast, it's good, but you need to be there. You need to type things or talk into microphone and then transcribe it and then accept things and check code and things like that. But with this, all I did, I sent a Discord message and I went to work. And then I came back and I had a response, hey, it's done. And I just had to check the pull request. And that's, if you bump it up with a better model, I think that's only a win in this situation.
And can you share something about the speed of execution? Because I tried Claude for Chrome. I haven't tried Claude Cowork yet, but for Claude for Chrome, I felt like it's really fascinating and generally working well, but it takes really long. So it takes forever to complete a relatively simple task. So if you, for example, ask Liara to, I don't know, publish a new blog post, and create an image for the app or the blog for the app's website. How long does it actually take to complete the job?
Honestly, I'm not sure because the blog creation is a scheduled job for her. So she has to write 1 blog a week. I don't want to spam too much content on our website. And it runs every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. And then I just get a message that's done. So I'm not sure how long she takes, but the message usually arrives around like 8:30, something like that. But I'm not sure if actually needs half an hour for the whole process or just a message gets sent later. I assume it's half an hour. Let's say half an hour. But if you just chat with the agent, depends a bit on the task, what you are asking, but usually it's quite fast. So I remember 2 days ago, I needed something figured out on based on our data. I was planning a meeting with my co-founder, and I had no time to look up certain things in analytics. And I was just stepping into the car from the office to come home, and before I drove away with the car, I sent a message to Liara, hey, look up this and this and this and this. And I remember that I barely drove away and I already got the message with the data. So it took like 2 or 3 minutes, not even, to go to analytics, get all the data, because she's using mostly API. So it's like quite fast. So it's getting the data fast. Depends a bit on the request, but it's usually really, really fast. So I can't complain about speed.
Okay, nice. And which other use cases have you planned to test? Because now you're obviously settled already a little bit. You know how it works. It has adapted its soul, so it meets your communication style. It feels like you're through the early days of testing.
Yeah.
So I could imagine that based on how I know you, that you're already, at least in your brain, there are already a lot of ideas cooking what's coming next.
Yeah, so I upgraded the setup recently, and at the first 1.5 week, I was running her on a VPS, on a virtual private server, which is not the best option. It's probably the good option to start, but if you really want to have OpenClaw unleashed, you need to give it a device, because then it can use browser on a way. Yeah, that's exactly what I have, a Mac Mini. Good job.
I'm holding a Mac Mini into the camera for everybody that's just listening, because obviously I also saw someone on LinkedIn posting about it. You should have a separate machine, blah, blah, blah. But yeah.
I totally agree with that take. A lot of people say, I don't need a Mac Mini, you need a VPS. So yeah, if you are like a nerd, VPS is probably good because you can figure out the server and everything. For me, the choice was to go with a Mac Mini because I understood, okay, if I need to take this to the next level, I constantly need to log into my server, make there certain changes. I have no idea how to run a server. I barely done it a few times. I had to ask Claude Code to make that for me. It's a lot of work, and I still feel that I'm limiting the potential. With the Mac Mini, you also get the browser use case unlocked. So she can really use a browser like you do. Then you can say, hey, go to Versal, create an account, put the project up and do something, or check Twitter and get back to me about this and this. Because otherwise you need to give in a VPS all kinds of API access and things like that. Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's the ideal. And also if you have like a separate device, it's a bit more secure because you don't have to mess around with securing the VPS. So you know what you put on that separate device, and you know that that's the only thing that OpenClaw can access. So if you put there an API key, you know that she has access to that API key. And yeah, if you see like that's something going wrong, you just take that API key away and you know that's more or less isolated. On a VPS, you have to also make sure that you are securing the server itself. That's also a lot of work. If you don't know what you are doing, you can get in trouble. People can get into your server, get all your credentials, things like that. So that's a risky move if you are not technical. But what I'm planning right now, I have 3 plans for the future, for the upcoming period. I have now Sunday morning blocked off to set everything up because the Mac Mini just arrived beginning of this week, and I just quickly set it up. So I need to really dive deeper into this. But what I want is that I want her to create a blog for herself where she can write every day something. I will just leave it open. I really am curious what she will write about, and will it get traction or not on the internet? The second one is that I want her to create a project that will create, I would say revenue, but at least get users. Let's say that way. So I will say, hey, this is, come up with project ideas, start coding it, and push it to Versal. Create whatever you want. Make a business. I'm curious if it can actually do that, because I saw someone on Twitter that was able to do something like that. So I want to test that as well. And then the third one is just taking it further with the coding part for Backdrop Boost, because if she's running properly on a separate device, then if my research is not wrong, then I can use a Claude account where she can log in, and then she can use Claude Code via an account instead of the direct API, which is a lot cheaper. And then we can use Opus 4.6, and then we probably open Pandora's box here in my small office.
Was about to say the same. Pandora box. We're approaching the end of the rainbow. Nice. A quick question before we dive into the setup. I know people want to know how to set this whole Claude bot thing up, because like it sounds cool, but then the question is, okay, but how do I get started? And we obviously want to deliver also on that promise. Why is it a Mac? Why is it not a Windows or like a Microsoft PC? Why is everybody buying Mac Minis now?
Because Mac Mini is stupidly strong for the price that you have to pay. One of the reasons. And the other one, the main reason for me, for example, is I can use an iMessage to talk with her. And that's even cooler. So that's nice. And the other thing is I can share a lot of things from my MacBook to her. So Apple Notes, things like that, I can directly share, because she will have like an iCloud account as well. So it unlocks a lot of things for me to do, because I also have a Mac, so it makes it easier. But I think the main reason is that Mac Minis are really cheap at the moment. So I think Mac Minis probably are a good investment for short term. So if you buy them now and everyone runs out of stock, you can resell it probably a few months later. Not sure. I don't take this as a financial advice, but yeah. I think that's one of the main reasons, because Mac Minis are cheap and strong.
Got it. I guess there will be someone that buys like 100 Mac Minis, then
Probably
sets them all up, and then provides like a EA as a service, like executive assistant as a service thing, where you can basically have your own AI assistant, which in the back end is like a Claude bot running on a Mac Mini that will then be personalized to you, and you can share what you want to share. And they set up a couple of things already pre-made.
Already, people are already doing this. I saw someone on Twitter. There's a platform called Trust MRR. It's a platform where you can. So a lot of people say a lot of things on internet, and Mark Liu, the creator of the platform, created this platform. you can connect your Stripe key to it, and then you can actually see if people talking about their app actually make money or not. And I saw a lot of guys on Trust MRR that they created an OpenClaw something, so you can use it or you can set it up there quickly. I saw one of the guys made 20,000 in like a week or something.
Crazy.
I think if you go to the platform and you look up like Open something or CloudBot, if you search with that, you can probably already see a lot of services that are there. And people making serious money already with the idea that you had. So yeah, that's coming, yeah, and it's already here.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So now let's get into how to set this up. I know you prepped a little something for people to also better understand it. Can you guide us through? So if I feel like this is interesting, Alfred convinced me, I want to get going, how can I get started tomorrow?
Yeah. If you are rich, then buy a Mac Mini. If you can afford it, do it straight away. If you are like a bit more cautious and you don't want to spend 400, 500 euros straight away, then you can probably do it the way I did it. So that is, go to AWS, that's Amazon's server stuff. They have a super generous free tier. Basically, you get, if you are making a first-time account, you get 200 euros, I think, as a budget, which is plenty enough. So you can run your OpenClaw for free for at least a long period. So I ran it over there for more than a week, and I didn't even spend 10 euros of that free budget. You can create that, and then on there you can start experimenting. Okay, is this something that I like? Is this something that I don't like? Is it nice? You will probably have a lot of headache managing the server, but for that I created something for the listeners, and I will share my screen if you don't mind to walk everyone through this small thing.
For everybody that is only listening to this, we will also share what Alfred is showing us with a link in the show notes, so you can check this out. Otherwise, highly recommended going to YouTube and checking it out there. I don't know the timestamp exactly that we will be on, but probably somewhere around the 50-minute mark. Then you can check it out on YouTube also.
Yeah. So what I'm sharing right now for the people that are not watching the screen is I created a small repository on GitHub with the Claude MD file. So if you are not familiar with Claude MD, it's a markdown file that if you are using Claude Code for coding, it will be sent every time you send a message to Claude in the background. So it's like a system. And what I did with the AWS server, I set it up quickly on the interface, and then I use Claude Code to configure the server in a secure way and everything. Because Claude Code, because it can use a terminal, just like your OpenClaw will, it can log into the server via the terminal. You just need to give it the keys to the proper place. So what I created here, I open now the Claude.md. It's basically a template for the Claude MD that you can use in your project if you want to do it the way that I did it. So this will explain for Claude Code the SSH access. Claude will help you to set up the PM file. So I don't even explain that. You just can ask Claude what's in this file and he will explain it. And then Claude can also guide you through what server you need to select, what you need to install on that AWS server when you are setting it up. Just have a chat about basically what you want to do, because in this Claude.md file, I mostly try to put everything that's I already use and it's important. And the one of the biggest things that I think it's the most value I can share right now is the OpenClaw command map. What I did, I scraped the whole GitHub repository from OpenClaw, and I scraped all the commands that you can run on the server to set up certain things. So like changing modders, logging into certain modders. So I have here, for example, OpenClaw channels list. That's the command you can run in the server terminal window, and then it will do something. But this is not for you. This is for Claude Code. So if we go back quickly to the Claude.md, that's the thing that every time is sent to Claude Code, there is a line at the end of it, OpenClaw commands. See OpenClaw commands.md for the full CLI reference. So when you are talking with Claude and you say, for example, to Claude, hey, I want to switch models in my OpenClaw agent. Can you do that for me? Yeah, Claude then will check that command map. He knows exactly which command he needs to run on the server, and he will make the changes for you. So you don't have to enter the server every time, write certain commands, because trust me, that's a terrible thing if you are not familiar with using terminal. So yeah, that's one of the things. I also have a setup guide. This is probably where you need to start. Just give this to your AI assistant that you like. I recommend using Claude Code because you will need that as well to set up the server. And it's one of the best things you can use at the moment. But it's another conversation. But back to the setup file. This is, you just give this to Claude and he will walk you through the whole setup, how you set this up on AWS on the free tier, which storage you need to select, which instance you need to select, how many RAMs and things like that. If you don't have an idea, he will guide you through. And if you don't want to use AWS, I also added other options, such as DigitalOcean and other providers. I also saw yesterday that Hostinger has actually they made a service for this. So if you search on Hostinger OpenClaw, they have a one-click setup for, I think, €7 a month. So you just buy that and they create a server for you where OpenClaw is there. So you just need to configure it after that. It's also secure and it's a probably fast way to do it. But then you already need to pay for that. And this, what I show you, it's free if you do it with AWS. And the rest of the file is just for Claude explaining what he needs to do once he gets into the server. Basically, the instructions are not even for you. And I have here in this file, I think I have a small part of the, yeah, it's a small snippet of the soul.md that I was mentioning at the beginning. But this has like the core values, personality traits, and basically this is like what's in the soul MD. It's like explaining to the OpenClaw agent who she or he is, identity and things like that. And the nice thing about the soul MD, this is the core identity, but this is editable by the agent himself. So this will improve over time based on the conversations that you are doing.
And how long?
And the last thing in the
sorry.
Yeah.
No.
The last thing in the repository is a logger. That's also explained for Claude itself. This is just that Claude, when you are configuring the server using Claude Code, he will make here logs what things have been changed on the server. It's like a memory for Claude Code. So what I did, I created a project on my device, which is called Liara, and that's me using Claude Code to configuring the server every time, and I need to make a change on the server. Once the server is up and running, it sounds really complicated, but trust me, you can do it in like I don't know. I did it in like 15 minutes using Claude Code. Once the server is up and running and the OpenClaw agent is live and it's living and you can talk with it on Discord, after that, the whole setup happens with talking to it. So you just say, hey, I want you to be able to do this and this and this. And then OpenClaw will just fix it.
Wow.
Maybe he will maybe ask a few things like, you will say, hey, I want you to be able to browse on the internet. And then he will come back like, okay, I need an API key for Brave and the rest I fix. And then the API keys, you don't directly give it to the OpenClaw. So not just copy paste it. When you need to add the API key to the OpenClaw agent, then you go to your Claude Code setup. And then you tell Claude, hey, I need to add to this server a new API key. In the instructions, he knows how to do that. Then Claude will give you a command that you need to run yourself. Also, don't give your API key to Claude himself. Don't just copy paste it into the interface. Claude will give you a command which you need to then run in your terminal. Ask Claude how to do that. It will help you. And then you just run the terminal command. And after the terminal command, you just paste the API key. And once you run that, the API key will be added to the env file in the server, which then OpenClaw can use. And that's secure, more or less.
Nice. It's very good that we have this repository that we can share with people. And thanks so much that you build it actually for us to share. I highly appreciate it. What I wanted to ask you, because I feel like So I feel this sense of excitement you have about it.
Yeah.
And drawing back on your experience you had when you saw the launch of ChatGPT and that feeling of Monday morning, going to the office, talking to people, hey, have you already seen that? Blah, blah, blah. How would you rate? And I know since this inception moment, you have been deeper and deeper and deeper with AI. How would you rate this moment now with OpenClaw? Like in comparison to that and everything that happened before?
Yeah. If that moment was a 10, I think it was a 10 back in 2023. So I was super excited about it. Then I would say this OpenClaw, it's like probably a 7.5, 8-ish on the whole scale. I think I will go quickly to 9 once I have the whole Mac Mini set up properly. So I might change my score after that, but just based on the early experiments I made, I would say 7.5, 8, which is quite high because the last tool that made me give such a high score was the launch of Nano Banana Pro, and that was a big one as well. So yeah, it's I think this is probably I wouldn't say probably it's revolutionary in a way that I think the bigger AI platforms such as OpenAI or Anthropic, they saw now that, okay, there is need for this. And if we make something like this in a secure way, then that's a key to a lot of other new users, because the platforms currently can do something like this, but they have the strongest models. So imagine running a Liara natively built by Anthropic on an Opus 4.6. Yeah, that would be like absolutely bonkers. I'm not sure if they can make it because there are a lot of security problems with OpenClaw at the moment. So probably that's why they didn't do it, because for them it's like a big risk if they mess up something. But at some point they will figure it out how to do it properly, and then we have proper AI assistants that we can use by the native model creators, and that's probably the biggest that we will have. Again, that will be the biggest thing at that point.
Because that's what I wanted to ask. I mean, if I remember the ChatGPT, I think it was for second half of 2025 strategy document that got leaked in a suit, so in a legal process in the US with Google. They actually said the vision for ChatGPT is to become this super assistant. And I feel like, so the more I listen to you talking about it, I feel like this is the closest we got to having the super assistant now. So you feel like security is the biggest problem. So this coming from the community, basically as an open source project, is due to an individual creator.
The project was vibe coded. So the guy who created OpenClaw, basically, he said it in an interview. I have no idea what every file is in the. So I was just talking to. He created it with Codex and some of it with Cloud Code. He was just talking to his laptop and he was programming it, and then it started to work, and then from there it grew. But yeah, you can see it as a vibe coded project that is really good. But yeah, there are some security stuff. You have to be careful how you use it, and I think that should be a totally different episode as well. But I'm not sure if we have time, or I can go like quickly 5 minutes into like security.
Of course, let's do it, please. Yeah.
Be careful what you give access to your OpenClaw if you set it up at the beginning. So if you do it on a separate device, then you are more or less good in a way that you know what's on that device and she has access only to that things. Don't sign up your agent to platforms where other agents are. One of the platforms that got really popular is the Mold book. That's like Reddit for all these OpenClaw agents that people created. And that's number one most unsecure place you can give your agent to access, because people can do prompt injections from there. So that's then it's bad, obviously. For example, I wouldn't recommend allowing your agent emailing people other than you or talking to people other than you at the beginning, because if someone knows what they are doing, they can also do prompt injections. So if someone sends now an email to Liara with a prompt injection, it will probably go through it, and then she can leak my API keys and things like that. So I wouldn't want to do that. So at the beginning, just keep it on your device. If you are running it on a VPS or on a private server, make sure the server is secured. And after that, just give access to the tools that you first want to use. So I would say use it with Discord at the beginning, super easy to set up. Telegram is also super easy to set up. What I heard, I didn't test it, but it shouldn't be hard. And then just start talking to it. Make sure you have one clear use case in your mind, what you want to test, and just give access to the tools at the beginning that you want to use, and nothing more. And be mindful how you give access via the API keys. Create separate API keys with clear budgets. So if, for example, if you use Nano Banana Pro, so you want your assistant, just like I did, to create images, create a new project on Google Console for that. Set a budget alert of 10 euros over there, and an instant kill if the budget is depleted, and create a separate API key, obviously. So you can take precautions like this. If something goes wrong, she burns a lot of credits, the most you lose is a tenner, and that nobody gonna have a headache about it. But if you don't do it and she burns 1,000, you might have a different conversation at home.
Maybe, depending on which account is charged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know my wife wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, these are very important additions. Thanks so much for that. I guess, are there any resources that you draw on when you think about this? So is there anything that you read, like a blog post or a post that we can also maybe put in the show notes that have some helpful security guidelines? Because I could imagine people thinking, okay, yeah, that sounds really good, but wait a second, what was it again? And I know how people are; they probably won't re-listen the whole part. So, is there anything that we might be able to share?
Yeah, obviously their own website is really good. They have a lot of docs. So OpenClaw.ai, I think it's the domain.
Yeah.
Or com, I'm not sure.
.ai.
Yeah. There is a lot of good stuff. About setup and other things that can be helpful at the beginning and things like that. I recommend also checking a YouTuber called, I don't want to butcher his name. Let me just quickly look it up, because I'm subscribed and he should be on the top because I watched the video yesterday evening. Matthew Behrman. He created a lot of good videos about how to set it up. So there is also a lot of good content, and he also has a lot of links in those videos. So I can share maybe a link with you, the video I watched, and then that can help as well. And these are mostly like setting up security and things like that. If you want to get inspired on how to use OpenClaw and what you can do with OpenClaw, then follow Alex Finn on Twitter. The guy already bought 2 Mac Studios. That's a 10,000 euro device. He bought 2 of them to run OpenClaw. The guy is creating an army of OpenClaw agents. He's doing a lot of things. I think 50% is hype to just generate content because he's a content creator. So probably there's a lot of things like that. But he is really inspiring to open your mind and to see certain use cases that you can do with your OpenClaw. So I will share also the link to his profile so you can put it in the show notes.
Wow. Nice. Thanks so much. Wrapping up the conversation a little bit, I always want to ensure that people will leave the episode with the most actionable advice, and I think we already delivered on that like 3 times. So thanks so much for that. But we touched on getting started with AI. We touched on how to think about structuring the problems, which route to go. So is it a problem I can solve basically in the UI of ChatGPT, etc.? Can I solve it with Claude projects, custom GPT, etc.? Do I need an agent? We talked about CloudBot, setting it out on VPS, Mac Mini. So we covered a lot. Now, if there are people listening that are thinking a lot about AI, but are still early in their journey, like the early, I have built a custom GPT, but other than that, I'm still just prompting ChatGPT, for example, for stuff. What would be your maybe 2 to 3 top pieces of advice, actionable advice for people that want to take their next step at least towards something that, you're building, for example?
Yeah. Number one, I would say start a coding project where you use AI. You will learn so much about how these models work and what are the capabilities. And everything you do in code, it can be translated later to other use cases. You don't have to understand the code that you are writing. Just use AI for these things so you can understand how to talk with them. That's what you will learn by creating. You don't have to recreate the new Facebook. Do something small. So I can't believe. I think everyone has like an idea or something for an app. Maybe you have a problem at home that you are frustrated about. I don't know. For how I started, an actual example, my very first project that I coded with AI was a gym tracker, because all the gym trackers that were out there were rubbish, were not for my use case and for my program that I was following. So I created that in like an afternoon back then with Sonnet 3.5. It was like, feels like it was 10 years ago. And that taught me so much about how to talk with these, what are limitations, things like that. And it's really something like simple like that you can set up quite fast with AI. And if you're not sure if your idea is simple or not, ask AI. So take a microphone so you don't have to type. Install handy.computer. I can share a link. That's a free transcriber. So if you are familiar with Whisperflow, it's awesome, but you have to pay for it. And if you only need a transcriber, then handy.computer is an app that you just install and it runs locally and it's completely free. Then turn it on, talk for 10 minutes into your microphone about your idea, send that to Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever. Ask the tool, okay, is this difficult or not to build? And if you get like a plan or more or less an idea, okay, this is looks like manageable, then install Claude Code or Cursor. I recommend if you are doing a coding project, don't do it in a chat interface. Gonna be a lot harder and you lose motivation. So install Cursor or get Claude Code, and that probably would be the wiser option. And anti-gravity, it's also a really good option, and I think it's free. So if you don't want to spend money on this, then use anti-gravity from Google, and you can use Gemini 3.0 Pro there for free, if I'm not mistaken, for a certain period of time. And you can create probably a nice project and you understand most of things. You don't have to understand like code and things like that, but you will understand a lot about how these works, context windows, things like that, because you will encounter a lot faster over there these issues than in just a chat interface. And those things are playing everywhere when you are working with AI. I think this is one of the biggest things that you can take as next step. And the other one, which you should already do and should be doing and should stay doing, write everything down. If it's in your head, it doesn't exist. So if you need help from an AI assistant, doesn't matter which tool, about your fitness goals, personal projects, if the AI doesn't know what's your current status, what you are doing at the moment, how the heck you expect you get a proper tip from AI? So when I realized this, I started to track everything. I'm also a gym nerd, so I created that tool. I track daily what I do, what I eat, what's my weight. And my AI is connected to that via API. So when I ask Claude, hey, can you get the data from my fitness and check it to my goals for 2026? Am I on track or not? He knows exactly where I'm at the moment and what I need to change to get better. But if you don't have this context, you just get slop. So write everything down. Write projects down that you are working on, challenges that you face with that project. Everything basically. So what I use is Apple Notes, just because it's accessible then from all my devices. And I have a folder for each project that I'm working on and also areas of my life. If you read the book, Build a Second Brain from Tiago Forte, then the listeners that read the book probably understand what I'm talking about. It's like a system where you take notes in a certain way. It helped a lot, also with AI stuff. So I work on a project, I write down everything, what works, what doesn't, what are the challenges. And when I ask Claude about it, he knows the whole context. I don't have to explain things. So he knows what I already checked, already did. And it's a lot easier to write these things down as you go, and you have a lot more context to work with. And you get proper stuff out of these AI tools. But you need to write things down, because if it's only in your head, then yeah, then it's nowhere.
Have you always been like an explorer type person? Like there's a new thing and I'm intrigued, I want to understand it
Yeah,
better, so I will play around with it? Also
yeah,
pre-AI?
yeah. Pre-AI, my whole life is just FAFOing.
Mm.
So just to give a small context, I moved to the Netherlands 9 years ago. I'm Hungarian, and when we had a certain things at home, and we wanted to try something new with my wife. So one day we just sold everything and we stepped into the car, and then we drove to the Netherlands to start a new life. The only thing I knew where I was going was my cousin, that because he was living here, and he said you can live 1 month at us. I had no idea where I'm going to work, and 3 days later I had to work. So yeah, my whole life was exploring and trying things.
Yeah, I feel like that's a trait that a lot of people share that are on the frontier of like these technological things, because they don't wait for someone else to show them the way, but they actually find the way themselves. So the personal story with you moving to the Netherlands is like a perfect testament to that, I would say.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a better example.
Yeah, I'm not afraid making mistakes, breaking things, and you will do a lot when you are working with AI. So I see a lot of colleagues do something and then it breaks, doesn't work, and they come into panic. And I don't know, oh, I made some mistake. I'm like, I broke only 14 things today. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yesterday I did 60.
Was it hard to get buy-in from the agency leadership that it will in the future be normal that things break?
Happily not. So they are really open-minded. So they understood what this brings. I explained it at the beginning. They already knew me, so I already broke a lot of things before that. So it was easy for them to accept. Okay, this probably just will give more problems to us when Alfred is unleashed. So, but it also gave a lot of benefits. They said it, so it's not my words. They said it to me. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Happily, it was easy to get them on board.
Very cool. Alfred, I have a final question for today, which is, what didn't we talk about that we should have talked about?
I think we covered most of it, but I would say one important thing which I saw a few days ago on Twitter, someone wrote an article that got like 70-something million impressions about that the new COVID is here and it's AI and got a lot of attention. And what I hate at the moment on whole social media is the fear-mongering about AI. And I saw someone else reacting to that post with one line, and it was brilliant. He said, AI doesn't come for your job, fear is coming for your job. So if you are just sitting still and you won't do anything about it, and you are close-minded and you don't test these tools and you are not open to using them, then you probably will lose your job, or changes will come to your life. But most of the people are not like that. Some people are like me, explorers. Yeah, we are way ahead, but everyone will catch up at some point. And if you look around in the real world, how fast things get implemented, how open-minded are boards and things like that to implement AI. When you go into a real company with rules and corporate stuff, yeah, it's not easy to get an AI project up and running. So you see all these guys on LinkedIn talking about AI, but those are like explorers. This is their job. Most of them are also content creators, so they need to talk about something to generate impressions. But I would say don't be afraid. I would say I'm a positive person. I would say really nice things are coming towards us. We will be able to solve so complex things that we were not able to solve before, and that will unlock a lot of things. Probably for some people will also bring negative things. But yeah, just don't let fear disappoint you, or don't get overwhelmed by the fear posts and things like that. And I'm already behind, I'm not going to try it. That's the worst you can do. So just be open-minded, ignore everything, go try it yourself, see what it can do in your field, in your area, for you, and you will understand it a lot better than reading on Twitter. When you see someone just or LinkedIn, you see someone just talking about fear and things like that, yeah, close. That's the sign to close LinkedIn and go try it yourself and see where that takes you.
Very well put. Thanks so much. I very much enjoyed the conversation. It was very insightful. I literally have this Mac Mini here standing in front of me on my desk.
You should
and
end the podcast and install it.
yeah. The more we talk, unfortunately, I only have time on the weekend. But the more we talk, the more I was like craving going to it, because it felt like this moment when, I don't know, when I was a teenager and I had this new computer game, and I was literally sitting in school, like very nervous about getting home, installing it, setting everything up, and then just going, oh, when I had a new computer or something, even crazier, like, oh, I can install my new graphic card, etc. I have the same feeling. So thanks so much for giving me that. This was
thanks for the chance.
Yeah, it was great. If people want to follow you around, so obviously we will put all the links that you talked about in the description, but what's the best place to follow you? Because I know that you also share a lot about your thoughts and the projects you're working on.
LinkedIn is a nice way to follow me if you want to see a bit more filtered and normal Alfred. And if you want to get a more raw experience, then Twitter is the place. I really post more and like different content on Twitter than LinkedIn. But if you follow me on LinkedIn, that's already nice. And there I also share a lot of things when I have time. Obviously, it's not daily. So
yeah, hopefully Liara can make more time in your day so that you can post more.
Yeah, it would be nice. The problem is if she makes more time, then I already come up with a new project which will take time again. But yeah, that's life.
Yeah, that's actually the new struggle. You make time and then you have more time, but then you immediately start working on something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So then, Alfred, thanks so much. Very much enjoyed it. All the best for you. All the best for Adwise. All the best.
Same for you.
For Backdrop Boost. I hope you will get to the, what was it, 400 euros?
400, yeah, small numbers.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah, no worries. I don't think that it always has to be a shiny big number. So wish you much success in that. And thanks so much for making the time today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, and same for you as well. All the success that you can handle. So yeah.
Thanks.
Up and to the right.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.